Hello, boys and girls. Today we're going to review alphabetical order. We're going to look at some examples, and hopefully the more we practice, the more you'll get the hang of it and we'll be better at it. So let's take a look at what we have on the board. We have a couple of groups of words here, but we have something that's very important, and either you need it in your head or on a sheet of paper, because this is really going to help you to move through the alphabet a little bit faster. And that's our alphabet, our ABCs in order. I went ahead and I wrote them out. And whenever you're doing this, you can write it out on an extra sheet of paper so that you can easily go back and forth, kind of like we do a number line in math, that you could easily see and go up and down the line and see the numbers, or a hundreds chart like we do in math, okay? So we are going to see these words. We're going to look at them and then see which one comes before and after. So we're going to take the first two words, and it is baby and bows. And if we start the steps, we look at the first letter and they both begin with the letter B. So what do? We go to the second letter. So the second letter here, we have an A. And here we have an O. Got the wrong red marker. And this one is an A and this one is an O. Since they both begin with the letter B, that's why we move to the next letter to see which one comes in alphabetical order first and which one is second. And it's so easy to see. We can reference and go, look, here's our A. And then here is our letter O. So that is very easy to see that they are actually in order. Baby comes before the word bows. And so those two words would be in alphabetical order. Okay. Now let's take a look at another group of words, but now we have to go a little bit further into the word. It's not the first or second letter. And the word is frame and fraction. Well, if we'll take a look, they both begin with the letter F. If we go to the second letter, they both have the letter R. We go to the third letter, they both have the letter A. Therefore, we will have to use the fourth letter to figure out which one would be first in alphabetical order. And I'm going to use my alphabet again, and I'm going to reference the C. There it is. And I'm going to reference the M. And this is so much easier than you having to go A, B, C, D in your head, which we usually do. So here it's very easy to see that the word fraction would come first in alphabetical order because the C comes before the M. Now remember, these letters are the same, so that is why we know that we have to go to the fourth letter to put them in alphabetical order. So in this case, they were not in alphabetical order. Fraction would go before the word frame. Okay, now let's look at one last group of words. And we have the word proofread, means to read again for errors. And of course, the word program. Now let's look at the first letter. They both begin with the letter P. Second letter is R. Third letter is O. And then that's when we get to the fourth letter and we can see that they're different. This one is an O and this one is a G. Again, if I look at my alphabet, I can see that the letter O is here in order and the letter G is here in order. So I know that since G comes before O in alphabetical order, the word program comes before proofread. And now I have put these sets of words in order, and I know which one comes before and I know which one comes after. So this is a very easy way to know and to follow the alphabet. Instead of having to use it in your mind, you can put it on a sheet of paper and easily follow it, okay? Now let's practice using guide words to see which word would be found on that page. So here we have two guide words on a page. It's either on a dictionary page or on a glossary page. And here we have the word nice and night. And of course, these are our guide words. These will help guide us to see if these words are found on this page. Again, we're going to use our alphabet to help guide us and to be our reference point to see where these letters are actually found in alphabetical order. Okay, here we have nice and night, and let's go ahead and take a look at them, see what they tell us. We know that they begin with the letter N. Let's look at the second letter, N-I and N-I. But then the third letter is the one that changes, N-I-C. So I'm going to find words that begin with N-I-C. And then here I'm going to have N-I-G. So we can come to our alphabet and we can go to the letter C and we can go to the letter G. Here's the C. And here's the G, and this kind of will give us a little picture that we're only going to have words that have these letters as the third letter, okay? So we need to be careful and look at that because these are guiding us that the third letter is where we have to be very aware of, okay? So I'm going to use red to indicate the third letter. So let's take a look at our first word. The word note. Is our word note going to be found on this glossary or dictionary page? Well, I can tell right away. Sometimes we think, oh, well, because with the letter N, it should. No, all of them begin with the letter N. Let's look at the second letter. And if we look at that, let's use a different color. And if we look at our N-I words, all of these words have the letter I in the middle as the second letter. So if we look at the second letter here, it's an O and it's way over here. So it's going to be found in a page way past this NI pages. So we know that note is not going to be found on this page because it is a letter found way after the letter I in the alphabet. So we can cross that out, and that is not going to be used on this page. The next two words do have N-I and N-I, so we're going to have to look at those closely to see if they are found within this alphabet range. So let's start with our first one. We're going to start with niece. And we're going to go, of course, since all of them have N-I and N-I, we're going to go to the third letter. And we're going to find it in our alphabet. And we can see that the letter E is right here. Wow, right in the middle. Right in between the words that have N-I-C to the third letter and N-I-G to the third letter. And it's found right in the middle. So that tells me that this word would be found somewhere on this page. Okay, that shows me exactly. If it's found before or after, it does not belong on this page. So let's see if nibble falls on this page. Again, we have N-I. So we go to the third letter and we're going to find it up here on our alphabet. And you probably already spotted the B, right? It's right here. Well, it is before we find the third letter in nice. So this is kind of the cutoff point. So that means that nibble would not be found on this page. It would probably be found on the page before. So we are going to cross that out. And using the alphabet really helps to narrow down what words and to know what words will be on this page. So let's practice one more. Let's practice using these two words. My favorite word, hummingbird and hurricane. These are going to be our guide words again. And again, these are the words that help us to know which are this is the first word on this page. This is the last word on this page. So we are going to use our alphabet again to help us decide if these three words are found on this glossary or dictionary page. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at our guide words. We know that they both begin with the letter H. We look closer, they both have the letter U, but that's when we have to look at the third letter, and they have different letters. So we're going to use our alphabet to show where those letters are. And we're again looking at the third letter only. We are at the letter M. So we know that this is going to start with words that have H-U-M. And then they're going to go all the way to words that have H-U-R. So I'm going to find the R. And we know that these are the letters in the third spot of this word that we are going to be on the lookout for. Any letters in the third place of this word found before that will not be on this page, and any letters after that will not be on this page. So that's going to help us. Now let's take a little close look at our words. And a good strategy is to eliminate or to remove things that we know are already the wrong answer. And I think you can see it already. When we look at the word house, we will see the difference in the second letter. While we find all of the H-U words, the second letter here, we find the O way before the U words. So we would not find this at all on this page because right now we're only looking at words that have the second letter U. So when we look at that and we look at where the O is, it would be way before. So the word house would be found way before all these H-U words, okay? So that's if we looked at the second letter. Remember, this is the bracket that we're looking at for the third letter. So we can cross out the word house. Then we have the word hunting, and it does have H-U. That means we're going to have to look at the second letter, okay? Again, here we have H-U. That means we're going to have to look at not the second, the third letter, and we're going to have to look at the third letter here. So let's start with husband. And here we have the letter S, and it is not in the range of our third letters. Remember that our third letter range was H-U-M and H-U-R. And look at the letter S. This is H-U-S. That means that husband would come in a later page, maybe one or two, after the word hurricane on a separate page. So we know that the word husband would not be found on this page. Now let's look at the word hunting. And again, we're looking at our reference for the third letter. And the letter N is found right here. And it is right in between our first guide word, and last guide word on this page in alphabetical order, and we would find the H-U-N words on this page. Therefore, the word hunting is the one that belongs on this page. So don't get too confused when you're dealing with the position of the letter. Make sure that you know what position you are comparing, and make sure you're using your alphabet because that will help you when you are trying to figure out the alphabetical order and finding which word comes before or after, especially when you have two guide words that are there for you to reference. Okay, if you practice and look carefully, use your alphabet, you will be able to do all of these words and many more on your own. You have a very good day, boys and girls, and we will see you soon.